They say all good things come to an end, but good or bad things come to an end. But they probably mean more like change. Please allow us to explain. For example, sometimes corporations are not what they seem to be. American Express, for example, started in 1850 and transported goods and stock certificates into the late 1800s when they added money orders and traveler's checks. IBM, in the 1990s, after an $8 billion loss, they abandoned computer chips, hard drives, and printers and turned to software, IT consulting, and computing research. Even Play-Doh, which I'm sure every little kid has, smeared all over a comic strip or all over their hands or the walls, was first used as a cleaner to remove coal residue from wallpaper in the 1930s. Kind of like in Christmas Story when the dad runs downstairs and you see that big puff of smoke come up through the vents. But by the 1950s, with oil and gas furnaces, demand for it fell, but the corporation heard of a school teacher using the clay in arts and crafts classes in Cincinnati and shifted their marketing to toys. Even YouTube started as a dating site. Now, we're not talking about wholesale changes here, but even just the changing of a name and rebranding can lead to a different type of thought process in your mind. Like Petty Enterprises became Richard Petty Motorsports, and Darrell Waltrip's team became Tyler Jett. Even Chip Ganassi's became Trackhouse. So that's what we're going to explore here real quick. Supercars Today, the publication, began life in 1991. But let's go back a little bit further than that. We began as photo contributors to Grand National/NASCAR Scene and Illustrated at the ripe old age of 15 in 1983. Following a 4-year Navy hitch specializing in communications, the realization that a move south would have to happen to continue, but would still basically create a small fish in a huge ocean scenario, and the answer to the calling broadcast school happened, and that's when things changed again. So plans to be the next Howard Stern were shelved, and we began said Supercars Today publication in the summer of '91 to cover strictly the ARCA Supercar series. With our small but extremely dedicated and talented crew, we did our best to cover ARCA's 20 to 25 races a year. And by 1996, the writing was on the wall, and it was time to get out before we lost everything. Covering just ARCA is sadly not a lucrative business, we found out. That love of stock cars was always there, and we began to write books. Joy Fair, The King, Bobby and Jack Bowsher, Frank Kimmel, among others, somewhat satisfied our taste, and then we also did stints in PR. Still, we enjoy covering the sport of stock car racing through audio and video, and in the meantime, struck up a friendship with the Stock Car Facts peeps. They built it into quite a following, but after a few years, they couldn't do it anymore, and they realized our mutual love for cars with fenders, and the offer was made to take the reins. At the time, we thought that perhaps the Supercars Today name could live on, but nowadays it's associated with Lamborghinis and Ferraris and the like. So the tough but obvious decision was made to, in better reflecting what we're continuing to do here, you'll no longer see Supercars Today, but you'll now be forced to look at Stock Car Facts in 2024, although you may hear it, since we have some interviews in the can, that while we're interviewing, we've said the name Supercars Today, but it is now going to be Stock Car Facts. You'll see us again in 2024 as we take a few weeks off for the holiday season. We'll return as Stock Car Facts on January 9th. That's a Tuesday at about noon when we always post. Please look for this logo, and from all of us here at Supercars Today, we thank you for supporting this one. For our last broadcast, as Supercars Today TV. Please have a Merry Christmas and safe and blessed New Year. And oh, by the way, if you don't know what to get us, please wait until the end, and you can see our Cash App and PayPal addresses to send us a little something to keep us on the air. Thanks so much.